So, I initially held off on doing this commentary, but after giving it some thought, I decided to just go ahead and get it out of the way. Today we're going to be commentating on GameSpot's review of DuckTales Remastered, and it was reviewed by Tom Mcshea, who did such a piss-poor job that I'm about to go and point out his mistakes. So let's go ahead and begin, shall we?
Music is like a symphonic time machine. It's a cheesy concept, but just listening to this rendition of the beloved DuckTales theme whisks us back to a simpler time. Life is like a hurricane, right? Whatever that means. And just like that song we're all singing along to right now, the DuckTales game conjures just as many fond recollections. Bringing that game to the modern era seems like a no-brainer. Sadly, DuckTales Remastered only reinforces the argument that our memories are much more forgiving than the harsh truth of the present.
But you better stick close to me, just in case.
Scrooge McDuck is the most lovable miser in the bird kingdom. Not only does he amass his fortune by gathering gems with his own greedy hands, he does so with style. Riding a cane like a pogo stick? That's just about the coolest way to travel, especially for an elderly billionaire. His motivations certainly shouldn't matter. He's a wealthy duck who wants even more money, so phooey to anyone who stands between him and another gem. And yet DuckTales Remastered spends an inordinate amount of time dwelling on the completely unnecessary story.
And what's wrong with the game having a story again? What, you're not going to tell me? No? Whatever.
Have you ever wondered how Scrooge is able to breathe on the moon? Of course not! And yet the game spells out the scientific reasons why it's possible without a hint of personality.
Oxygen-flavored taffy. 5 good chews and you can breathe on the lunar surface without a spacesuit.
And what's wrong with explaining how they can breathe on the moon? What, you're not going to go into any detail on that either? Whatever.
All such information is disseminated in this way, and though you can happily skip these cutscenes, there's still bloated exposition in a game whose rules do not need to be explained. Once you regain control, you're treated to clean visuals that do a fine job of updating the look of the pixelated original. Scrooge and his enemies have some nifty animations. Giggle as he tries to free himself from the gaping maw of a carnivorous plant, or cower when a leaping goat comes your way. It's a nice style that gives you confidence the rest of the game can also make the transition to the high-def era. Unfortunately, it becomes clear early on that the action has not received a similar facelift. Ow! From the beginning, Scrooge has access to 5 non-linear stages that can be tackled in any order. The goal is to collect various pieces before squaring off against a boss at the end. It's a fine concept, and you do appreciate the freedom to go forth at your own pace. But simple mechanics paired with predictable situations make it tiresome to progress through these levels. Scrooge can climb ropes, jump to higher ground by using his cane, and crack open chests hiding priceless treasures. Oh, and he can kill enemies by pogoing on their heads. As you perform these basic actions through stages, you realize just how tired the level design is. There aren't any tricky platforming challenges or cunning enemy confrontations, so you just bounce through levels without having to exert much skill or solve problems. But don't think this game is easy. Although there's nothing that will raise your heartbeat, because you have finite lives, it is possible to fail. Trudge through a 15-minute stage only to die at the final boss? Have fun replaying the whole thing. This is a cheap way to add difficulty.
Thing is, though, this game is simply a remastered version of the original NES DuckTales games. So, in turn, it's going to function like the original NES DuckTales games, where you lose all your lives and use up all your continues, you gotta start over.
Forcing you to retread ground adds frustration, not genuine challenge, and shows just how stuck in the past this game really is. The same criticism can be leveled at the bosses. Pattern-based battles can be exhilarating, but that's not the case in DuckTales Remastered. The bosses are more likely to lure you into a sleepy stupor than force you to hone dexterity. Like the rest of the game, you merely have to go through the motions to win.
I didn't get to be number 1 by fucking doom.
WayForward Technologies focused on the wrong elements in their attempt to bring DuckTales to the modern era. The added story is incredibly dull, and yet the gameplay that's too simple for its own good has been left untouched. It's really a shame. The nostalgic tingle the music delivers only makes the sluggish adventure that much more disappointing. DuckTales Remastered will make you doubt happy memories from your childhood, or leave you baffled as to why people were nostalgic for such dull platforming in the first place.
Oh, and thanks to you too, ma'am.
I think she likes you, Uncle Scrooge.
Overall, this review was shit. Most of the complaints about this game are just minor nitpicks, like how there are cutscenes, and how if you have to start the game over if you lose all your lives. And considering this is a remastered edition, it's pretty nitpicky. Oh, and also, he sped through his points faster than Sonic the Hedgehog. Couldn't even partially understand what he's saying. Had to rewatch it multiple times. Well, anyways, I've said all I need to say. I hate this review and I hate you, Mcshea. I'm CoffeeLover239, out.